It is June 22nd, 2017. It is another episode of the Impact Implosion here on the AngryMarks Podcast Network. As always, I am Seth. On the other end is the Sony 6 Battle Royal Trophy to my Sony 6 X Division Elimination Match. Mike Poland.
I love how all the 6 guys are in that Battle Royal.
The Sony 6, yes, they were in the Battle Royal.
Along with, like, Shira and KM and, like, Congo Kong for some reason.
Yeah, it was a straight. And Moose.
I hope that ends up being a thing on the pay-per-view, by the way. Shira and Congo Kong.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. But we got some news first. Some departures. First, we got to talk about the 3 agents that are gone. Al Snow.
What does everybody want? A release.
Pat Kenny, a.k.a. Simon
Simon
Diamond.
has a problem. And it might be the Owl.
And
Gregory
Shane Helms. So, Trevor Lee's going to be...
Trevor Lee.
The Helms Dynasty is no more.
And now Trevor will flounder even more than he already is.
And Jesse Goddard is gone.
Which would explain why he hasn't been on TV in like 6 months.
Although he's still on the opening crawl, so is Cody, and he's gone.
Somebody update that.
I looked at it, I was like, 2 of these guys are no longer with your company. You might want to get that checked out.
No, at least WWE gets for the guys that aren't with their company.
Yeah, and also we have El Patron is going to have his father, Dos Caras, in his corner.
Oh boy, El Patron is also saying that his match with Lashley will be better than Brock versus Joe. We'll see about that.
I doubt it. I don't think so. I think once more...
Leo is motivated, which he hasn't been in a long time. Yeah. Even in this TNA run, he doesn't seem like he is.
Yeah, and our commentary team for Slammiversary will be
Don West and Robert Flores
of the MLB Network.
Because Pope is still busy doing whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if Pope's still with the company. They did the on assignment, and normally that doesn't mean good things. Either that or Cody, D'Angelo De Niro cannot come to this country because of, I think, priors.
Or drugs.
No, I think
strict drug laws.
Well, no, I think he has priors and he can't leave the country.
What's that?
Well, I think there's some law you can't, if it were convicted of a felony or whatever, you can't leave the country. That's why Jeff Hardy was never on those Maximum Impact tours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they could not leave the country. So, you have some ratings news, apparently.
Yes, the last 2 shows have been up slightly. We had 317,000 viewers last week, up from 200, or 2 weeks ago, the week we missed, up from 287, and then last week was 327,000 viewers.
Well, I saw this week's Impact, probably because I was at Rift Tracks last week, and by the way, good show. So,
what's that?
Rift Tracks at the theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So India. 2 India shows.
Yay!
We got to talk about the first one, the one that was last week. We got a montage mentioning that this is apparently Sanjay Dutt's final shot at the X Division title.
When did he have a shot before? Other than that match with, like,
I think he's had several shots. His whole career, he's had shots at the belt.
Come up short. I want to make a comparison, but I'll save it for when we get to his match later.
Next, we have the India intro. As I mentioned, Cody Rhodes and Jesse Goddard are still on it, even though. And we open up with a match. The Sony 6 Invitational Gauntlet Battle Royal. By the way, Siddharth Kanan, better ring announcer than the guys on Raw or SmackDown.
Who are the ring announcers on Raw and SmackDown? I don't pay attention.
I think one of them's JoJo. I don't remember.
Yeah, Raw one is JoJo.
Yeah, and I don't remember the SmackDown one.
SmackDown one is whoever does NXT, I think.
I don't remember. Okay, number 1 and number 2 in this Battle Royal, Suicide and Homicide. Matt Sydal, not Homicide. Homicide will be on here later, but you'll see he's not allowed in India.
Yeah.
No, they fight for a little bit. Number 3 is Adorable Davey Richards.
Adorable Davey.
And they mention that Pope is apparently an assignment in the States, which is why he is not on commentary or may never be back on commentary. Because they said the same thing about Taz. He's on assignment, and he never returned. Number 4, KM.
Are you calling me a liar?
No, you're number 4. Number 5 is Swoggle.
Swoggle.
And it's at this point Suicide gets eliminated.
Number 6, Bud.
Number 6 is Eddie Edwards.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And then Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards eliminate each other.
Yes, we have to get that spot in every Battle Royal ever. The rivals eliminate each other.
Number 7's Roxer Spud, who is acting heel in the ring, while Swoggle is acting heel outside it.
Yay. Word lines.
Number 8, Congo Cat. Matt Sydal gets eliminated. And then Roxer Spud gets eliminated. Moose comes in and Swoggle gets eliminated before Moose gets in the ring.
Moose.
And then Moose gets eliminated.
Yay.
By KM and Congo Cat.
Because it's India and we have to put over the other...
Because the final entrance is Mahbali Shira, whose family is at ringside.
Gee, I wonder who will win.
Congo Cat is eliminated. He kind of runs outside the ring. And
then we go to commercial because it's time for the other two to have a match.
Yeah, Shira just ducks.
No kidding.
Yeah, then Shira and KM is going to be and they announced that signed for Slammiversary is Eddie and Alicia Edwards versus Adorable Dave Richards and Angelina Love Richards in Full Metal Mayhem.
Yay!
And Shira, to prove his strength, hits an AA, but that's not the finisher. No, the finisher is a Sky High, and Shira wins the trophy, gets presented it. Now, unlike in WWE, you'd be expecting that trophy to get fucked up. Not so, because Sony 6 is supplying these trophies, and let's not piss them off.
Yep.
So another montage. Oh, by the way, Josh Matthews and JB are on commentary, of course. Nobody's figured that out. Josh Matthews has tattoos on that are goddamn horrible.
Bitter Josh Matthews.
And another montage is for Sanjay Dutt.
Sanjay!
We gotta keep selling that Sanjay! And then a commercial for One Night Only, No Surrender. Well, Franklin will be defending his world title in a steel cage against Matt Morgan. If you're wondering,
that didn't happen.
What?
That did not happen.
Huh.
You know, Lashley and Eddie again.
Wow.
Which that was what was taped, by the way, initially. Apparently, the commercial's fucked up.
False
advertising.
False advertising. Congratulations. Former NFL running back D'Angelo Williams will be wrestling at Slammiversary. Remember this for later. JB and Joseph Park are supposed to be going to a dojo, but Joseph goes to a Chinese restaurant.
And they make a bare naked lady reference for some reason.
Yeah, chicken, the Chinese chicken.
Oh, God.
And
timely.
Later tonight, they'll be film studying.
Yeah.
And time for a segment with LAX, who reveals they can't go to India because of priors. Oh, man. Yeah.
Somehow that does not surprise me.
Goddamn laws. LAX says, we're going to go to a bunch of indie shows where we'll take some money and beat up some guys.
And run.
EC3 with an India entrance says, we will see
EC3.
Sing 3 now.
This segment was, well, better
Yes,
than
the
it could be, I guess.
translator. This was... Yeah, he apparently has an ancestor, a great grandfather that was born in India. So,
He just goes out to belittle and berate the Indian people.
it's third world hellhole, and all he has found is anger and despair instead of calm and tranquility here. And he wants the translator to say these harsh words towards his own country. Translator doesn't want to do it. So E-Sing 3 beats him up with the leather strap.
And here comes James Storm.
Yep, James Storm really hits EC3 with the strap, but EC3 runs.
And we'll have a strap match at Slammiversary.
They didn't mention that yet. They mentioned that next week. That's dropping in there.
Yep. But of course, that's what the feud's been built around.
Yep. Swoggle in catering with the Mumbai Cats when Spud shows up.
Oh, God.
And after some Spud doing some jokes, little people jokes, Swoggle shoves Spud's face into some food, and Spud runs after him. But it's time for Josh Matthews' sparring session. And his opponent is some guy named Sandeep Takan, or...
Does he do a swanton?
He hits a low blow, which is not a DQ, and then he hits a senton. I am not calling it a swanton because Jeff Hardy called it that. Jeff Hardy was the only person who called it a swanton. Everybody else called it a senton.
Or, yeah.
And wins with the Steiner recliner. But Josh refuses to let go, and Shira has to come to the rescue. Of course, Franklin beats up Shira. Josh puts Shira in the Steiner recliner, and here comes Patron, as both Franklin and Josh run away. And next week, EC3 and Franklin take on El Patron and James Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Joseph Park's playing with action figures.
Goody.
They don't have a Josh Matthews action figure, so he has to be somebody else.
No one would buy a Josh Matthews action figure.
I know. So then they gotta start watching tapes of Scott Steiner's horrible freaking promos.
And Scott Steiner calls them later for some reason.
Which, well, actually, it's revealed that Josh gave him his number. Mm-hmm. Josh gave him JB's number. They were using JB's computer for FaceTime and shit.
Hackers.
Josh is like, I gave him your number.
Oh, God.
Time for Trevor Lee versus Braxton Sutter. This is not much of a match. Braxton wins.
Yay.
But here comes Sienna and
Laurel Vaness
wasn't taking a shower in 112 days. Dear God, where are the flies? So
it should be like Pigpen from Charlie Brown.
LVN Challenge Jelly team with Rosemary next week, and just mention Rosemary might not be there for you.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Low Key prepares for his Sanjay Dutt in a hype video for him. And then hype for Slammiversary. And it's time for a Moose promo as he talks about how he beat Eli Drake. He didn't. Well, he beat him.
He had help from a judge.
Judge is terrible judging. And even Eli mentions the judges he beat him. And Moose challenges his two to a match at Slammiversary, which they accept and beat his ass. But Moose gets an advantage and chases them off, saying his partner will be revealed next week.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Scott Steiner cuts one of his insane promos on FaceTime. You have fat asses, and I hate fat asses.
Oh, we know that.
JB and Joseph are like, we're going to cancel the match. Big Papa's like, no, you're not, and don't hang up on me. So they just run away.
Mr. Papa Pump. Mr. Papa Pump.
Yeah, they want to hang up on him. You hang up on him. No, you hang up on him. It's your computer. Don't hang up on me. I don't want to hang up on Mr. Steiner. So, time for X Division title matches. Low-key defense against the home country boy, Sanjay Dutt.
Sonji.
And I get to notice that Indian people are sitting on some nice chairs. More nice than what we usually sit on for these shows.
Yeah.
We normally sit on steel chairs. These people sit on chairs that have coverings.
You can apparently afford that.
Yes. So, this match was not really that good. Although there was a nice side Russian leg sweep off the ropes. Yep. Not the turnbuckle at all, but just and Sanjay Dutt wins. They really, I know they did the face and all this stuff, but you really could have sold the fact that Sanjay might not be able to do this. This never seemed in doubt at all.
Yeah.
So I had to give this show a D, and I'm like, Impact does not know how to do a good show in India.
And it's gonna get worse.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I thought this show was better than the week before, but it's another show that, once again, they don't know how to do. Make a special show in India. It's no different from their Orlando shows, which you wonder why the Orlando crowd is so dead for those shows. Because you killed it.
And how you'll never be able to take those shows anywhere else.
I know. No, you can't because money. Anyway, remembering that Sanjay won the X Division title last week and is very happy about it. Finally did it. So, Sienna and LVN are in the locker room. LVN's got a trance or whatever, and he's like, Laurel, come on. I've heard that Rosemary is not in the building. So if you want your revenge, you need to focus. So
focus.
It's Sony 6's X Division 6-way elimination match.
Featuring...
And Josh mentions that he is here under protest because he wants to punch JB but can't. Yeah. But yes, 5 of the participants from the... actually, no, 4 of them, and Braxton Sutter and Trevor Lee.
Yeah. Because we're reaching for guys to actually put in this match.
Yes. Trevor Lee rolls up Braxton Sutter with the tights. Braxton is eliminated first. Then Josh mentions that he has a bone to pick with Shira for last week. And Suicide does a pointless move that ended with an enziguri.
That stupid falling back dive that he does that I hate?
It's basically it's this. He basically puts Trevor Lee's foot and puts it in Davey Richards' arms, and then he swings and does a enziguri to the swings off Davey and does an enziguri to the back of the head. It's really,
how does that even work?
It's stupid. It's an enziguri to the back of Trevor's head.
Convoluted enziguri kick.
It's just nobody would ever do this. It's kind of pointless. So anyway, Suicide pointless move ended in enziguri. Trevor Lee does the stomp later on, and Suicide's gone. Referee sees adorable Davey use a steel chair on Eddie Edwards and DQs him. Now remember, Davey's eliminated, so he's not a participant anymore. So when Eddie Edwards DTs Davey onto a chair, Eddie's eliminated because he's DQ'd too. Even though, if you noticed,
Davey was already eliminated.
Davey was already eliminated, not a participant. So
bad officiating.
Bad officiating, yeah. But we talked about some commercials. We saw the VLIP poo commercial and the general commercial again. I actually saw a funny commercial this time, and it was with Boys to Men.
Okay.
At the pharmacy, and they're like, guys, tell them the side effects of this medicine. Diarrhea.
Yes.
Boys to Men, they can make anything sound good. Man, you can make anything sound good. It's one of those commercials.
Well, the rest of those commercials were pretty horrible.
That was fun. Well, some of them are good. Some of them aren't.
The general one is just poorly acted.
Yeah. Like, do you have the general? What's your car insurance? I have the general, sir.
Welcome to the
family.
That would never happen.
Yeah. They wouldn't give a shit about car insurance. Although the other two things
might be normal questions, but
yeah, like if you drink, drive, or drugs, and
what kind of job you have.
Yeah, do you have a job? Okay. Then they hype up the Slammiversary main event between Franklin and
El Patron.
El Patron, and then Trevor Lee. We find out the final two are Trevor Lee and Matt Sydal because of those eliminations.
Mm-hmm.
And this basically was simple. Matt Sydal wins.
Of course, as he
and
would.
Ring announcer calls Bruce Pritchard Bruce Richard.
Oh, poor Bruce Richards.
Poor Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Richard! His new name! Congratulations, you have a new name, Bruce!
Whoever does Botchamania, get on putting that in your next video.
So,
Rockstar...
Yeah, no, the Sony guys, they present the trophy. Rockstar spun with a selfie stick. And then sees Swoggle talk with some... He's like, we gotta fight. And then he gives his selfie stick to some woman to hold, and the woman steals it. You never trust foreigners with your expensive device, American tourists. I hate to say this, but in Europe, that's a reality.
Yeah.
That's a reality. You don't trust anyone with your with your valuables, because there is a lot of robberies down there. A lot of shit stolen. So, anyways, they fight, and then another midget stops them.
Mm.
And I guess we'll figure this out where this goes next week.
Street fight.
So Allie's backstage. She's worried about Rosemary not being here, but tries to assure herself that Rosemary will be here.
But she's not here yet, but she'll be here.
Then backstage, the segment, we see Joseph Parkey's upset. Oh, JB, I got you in this mess. I may have screwed up. And JB's like, listen to yourself. That didn't stop the Germans. When the Germans bombed Earl Harbor, that didn't stop us. And I'm like, and even Joseph's like, even Joseph's like, what?
The Germans didn't bomb Pearl Harbor.
Or some of us give him a rousing speech of, so tag team match, LVN Sills and Showered 119 days.
Yikes.
I want to explain that before we get to the finisher eventually. Allie may be all alone. She has a weapon. Rosemary's using a kiss. She's nowhere to be seen. LVN and Sienna smiles. They head up the ramp, but Rosemary's under the ring. So we begin a tag match, and I notice that LVN isn't wearing shoes, nor says she ever wears shoes. So those feet must terribly stink. KM tries to interfere. Braxton Sutter stops him. This all causes LVN and Sienna to get a double team on Rosemary. LVN hits a stinky foot stomp on Rosemary, and Sienna gets the pin. And they're like, well, with those feet, they could take down anyone. Luckily, she didn't do as my friend noted later, luckily she didn't do a Bronco Buster.
Oh, Lord.
So, basically, Don West is selling the hell out of VIP passes.
Yes, pay $200 for a VIP package.
You get to go party in the park, ride Revenge of the Mummy.
So I want to do that late at night.
Yeah, hang with a bunch of us, including me. I'll be there.
You're not annoyed by the end of the night by my commentary.
Yeah, come on, John West is awesome. Sanjay Dutt's in a little car, one of those little cars that they have, those three-wheeled little things. As the crowd's behind him, says he's getting ready for celebration later on tonight. Then we get an LAX segment of they invade indie promotions and steal money. Steal the Booker's money.
Goody.
So it's time for the celebration of Sanjay Dutt, which seems familiar to Jinder 1. Impact, of course, was upset with this. We mentioned this. I watched the two. Jinder 1 seems to have a better production value, but I'm going to say this right now. The one with Sanjay Dutt seems more genuine. And I'll tell you why it's more genuine. Because of the crowd.
They're Indian. They're cheering for their
They're
native.
cheering here. They're loving this. The Americans are like,
The Maharaja.
Yeah, they don't care. On the other one. The other one
you're trying to
seems
force
so
the other one.
weight produced, and nobody gives a shit.
You're trying to force the other one.
Yeah. And it's a heel. It doesn't work that same way, as it feels more genuine with the baby face doing this celebration. In India! What a fucking concept!
Yep.
Maybe you should have gotten, Jinder Mahal to do this little WWE title celebration in India! Instead of on SmackDown.
And nobody would have cheered there either.
I think they would have if you've seen the news pieces on Jinder. I think they would have been happy.
Except Jinder's not really Indian.
Yes, he is. Punjabi is Indian.
He's Canadian.
Well, hold on. Let me check this out. Jinder Mahal. He is billed from Punjab, India, but yes, he was born in Canada. Whoops. Although, he is the nephew of Stampede Wrestling legend Gama Singh. He is raised by...
Oh, Gama.
Gama Singh. Yes, so... As Tiger Raj Singh... He basically...
Tiger Raj.
Yeah. Let me say that, okay, he wasn't born in India, probably, but he is of Indian descent.
Okay, so
And he probably can legit speak Punjab.
Yep. That's a big plot hole that he's not actually Indian in there.
No, he's Canadian. That is a good point. He is actually Canadian, but it's still an Indian descent guy. They would legit take credit for credit's due. Trust me, they would. They'll be more than happy to rally around this guy. But anyways, back to the Sanjay Dutt. Great. He promises to be the greatest X Division champion ever.
Here comes Loki.
And tough shoes to fill, first of all. Considering who the other champions have been. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. Daniels, Kazarian,
Petey Williams, Sabin.
Yeah, so many guys. Austin Aries. Holy shit. Yeah,
Eric Young.
Well, Eric Young kinda was and kinda wasn't.
Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
Abyss, for whatever reason.
Yeah, they gave the belt to Abyss for a little bit. Doug Williams.
Douglas Williams.
Yeah, so, yes.
Hendrick.
Sanjay, you have a lot. TJ Perkins.
Suicide.
Manic.
No, Suicide was also X Division champion at one point.
Yeah, and Manic.
Homicide.
Kenny King, all that shit. Yeah, there's too
We'll be
much.
here all night.
We'd be here all night. Yeah, Rob Van Dam.
Jerry Lynn.
I know.
Okay,
yeah.
enough.
Okay, enough. Yeah. Low-key comes out. He says, you know what? You may have had a bit of luck.
I'm going to congratulate you, but I'm also going to challenge you.
You may have had a bit of luck on your side, which the crowd boos, even though that is kind of true. He's like, you know, I accept the loss. You beat me. But I want a rematch since I gave you a match without earning it, kind of. Even though you kind of earned a rematch. So, and he says, not only that, we're going to do 2 out of 3 falls. Loki accepts that. Sanjay says that at Slammiversary. Mm-hmm. And they both shake hands, and then Loki turns heel. And here's the thing of a huge problem that me and Sierra had. Loki beats 2 motherfuckers up on his own. Because Shira's out there too.
Yep. That's good.
So, basically,
your
this
home
one
country
man,
baby faces get their asses kicked.
By one man. One
wonderful.
Smaller gentleman. I won't say anything about Loki other than he is smaller than Shira. So, yes, he kicks both their asses, hits the Warriors' way on Shira. We'll somewhat come back later. So he basically beat 2 men up. This really doesn't say much, and this says really less to anyone else who gets their ass beat in a 2-on-1. Hey, Loki kicked 2 guys' asses on his own. What's your excuse? So, anyways, Matt Sydal had to come out to have Sanjay Dutt have Senshi or Loki say no. Just say, no, please don't. And he's like, okay. So anyways, afterwards, KM's going to fight Shira. Shira's still hurt, and the doctors are advising against this, but Shira ain't listening. You would expect KM to probably beat this guy, and you could say, you know, give some good rub to KM, but also protect Shira and say, Shira got his ass, Shira got hurt.
Maybe set up a rematch for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, set up later on that he got beat up, that he got really jacked up.
But they didn't.
But no, KM loses to this guy. I was basically...
What a jobber.
Right, that Shira loses, basically a squash, but no, KM loses. So, but basically this Congo Kong comes out to beat up Shira, and Shira gets a little win but the numbers are too great and he gets beat up.
Oh, God.
And then we go back to the training montage of JB and Joseph Park. This time, JB does a flip into the pool. Joseph Park is happy. Oh no, Joseph's about to jump into the pool, but it's okay. And they both high-five. And Josh is like, you two are going to get your asses kicked still. So here comes Chris Adonis and Eli Drake. As JB sells us the one night only, no surrender again. And you wouldn't notice this if you weren't looking down, but Chris Adonis is wearing his Chris Masters tights.
Yeesh.
Yeah, the red, they got the muscle thing. Yeah, those are your Chris Masters tights, buddy. Why are you wearing that? You're Chris Adonis now.
I don't have any other tights.
So Eli Drake thinks Moose is teaming up with Bruce Richard.
I'd like to see that.
And joke about how they would hate that. That would be terrible. Horrible on us. And Eli's like, so come on out, Moose, and just tell us it's going to be 2-on-1. You ain't got a partner. And Moose says, you know, normally, Eli, you're a dummy. I can't say the same. You're not the dummy tonight. I can't say the same for your partner. And he says, I don't have a partner in the locker room. And they laugh at this. And But then my partner will be D'Angelo Williams.
Wonderful. And then he gets beat up.
And which they play video from old stuff, and D'Angelo Williams being Moose's partner. This would be a huge shock. And kayfabe-wise, this would be good. Just one problem.
You spoiled it last week.
You kind of spoiled last week that D'Angelo Williams was wrestling. You basically kind of... Yeah, okay, he's wrestling in this match. This is the match he's wrestling in. But he's wrestling even though ESPN and all them had basically been teasing that he's going to wrestle. But unlike those, they didn't tell you who he was wrestling against. They just basically said he was preparing to wrestle. You were the ones who kayfabe spoil that bullshit. So anyway, main event time. Franklin and E Sing 3, because he's still called E Sing 3, with his Indian versus El Patron and James Storm. And while they're announcing this, it's nice of them that they fucking drop EC3 and James Storm in a strap match announcement.
Yep.
That, oh yeah, they're having a strap match at Slammiversary. I'm like...
And of course, next week we're going to get all contract signings.
So...
matches.
And then El Patron, the babyface that he is, takes the world title that isn't his and taunts Franklin with it.
Yeah.
It ain't your belt yet. Basically, this was an okay match. This was a meh. EC3 belts the referee with the leather strap.
No DQ.
Storm and El Patron win by DQ.
Oh.
There was no DQ. There was a DQ. This was not a no DQ match. Then they all brawl. Storm chases EC3 with the leather strap. El Patron then celebrates with both belts and poses, and it looks like he's going to walk out with both belts. Mm-hmm. Like he did. So, why is this guy a face?
Why is Lashley a heel?
Why is Lashley a heel? It really feels like the wrong person's heel. And
especially since Del Rio's never been a good face to begin with.
No. Except in Mexico.
Not here in America, though.
No. But this show got to see better than last week's show, but once again, they cannot make this show any special. At all.
And it's going to be even less special next week with all contract signings and
all contract signings. Ladies and gentlemen, watch this show of all contract signings and barely any wrestling.
Yep.
Enjoy that, ladies and gentlemen.
Pay-per-view.
Way to have your go-home show.
We're going to sign all these contracts, and we're going to have a midget wrestle, a British guy, and probably a couple other. Eli
Drake and
Adonis
take on the Mumbai Cats. Although I do like the Mumbai Cats, so that will be interesting.
I think we're also going to see Loki and Sanji and Trevor Lee against Seidel and Dutt. So, okay, we'll get one good thing on that show.
Yeah. But yeah, a bunch of contract signings. Even though the contracts have already been signed for that tag match between Joseph Park, JB, Josh Matthews, and Scott Steiner.
I don't think those are contracts that were being signed to begin with.
No, those aren't, because those contracts already got signed. But
2 unification matches, the Storm EC3 and the Metal Mate.
Are getting signed.
Because you can't just do those, in a locker room backstage somewhere.
Yeah, you can't do those in a locker room like Hulk Hogan.
You're going to do 20-minute segments on a 2-hour show.
We got to do them in the ring. We can't go backstage like Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior did and have them sign some contracts.
In Holmes' office.
Yeah, sign some shit. Just
we could take time out of a 2-hour show that we could be using to build everything for the pay-per-view and actually get people to order it.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
frustrating indeed. So do you have anything to sell?
I do. July 21st, Limitless Wrestling presents Nothing Gold Can Stay. Nothing Gold Can Stay. Sounds like a one of those furniture
Sounds like
sales.
when Russo and Bischoff took over. Nobody
and on this card so far we have and on this card so far we have Donovan Dijak taking on Josh Briggs. We have JT Dunn taking on Super Crazy, and in the main event it's Ace Serrano and Anthony Green against AR Fox and Ray Fenix from Lucha Underground.
Ray Phoenix. Awesome.
I don't know
Ray
how you say it. It's spelled Fenix, but anyway.
Yeah, it's spelled Fenix. I know.
You got anything? Because I'm done.
This Saturday will be the induction of Flash Gordon, which is an insane porno movie, porn parody.
Oh.
It is insane, indeed. Especially when you find out that the monster is voiced by Craig T. Nelson.
What, Coach?
Yes. Yes, in an earlier role, he was the monster. Uncredited, but the monster, indeed. He voiced the monster. And he voices it like, well, there's a paycheck.
Yeah.
Getting a paycheck.
Doing this for the money.
Yep. Up yours, Flesh.
Yep. And on that note...
And also, the next induction, since this show will be out when that induction comes out, probably the show will be up. Next one's going to be The Erotic Ghost, which, unlike Flesh Gordon, will be extremely boring.
Oh, no.
Yes, Flesh Gordon entertaining, The Erotic Ghost, boring as fuck.
So much.
Boring as fuck. So, with that said, Miley, we're heading to bed.
Good night, everybody.